from the Center for Spiritual Living here in Granada Hills, California. We're located in the North San Fernando Valley in Southern California. And we're a place that welcomes all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. My name is Reverend Dr. Michael McMorrow. I'm the senior minister here at the center, and you have stumbled upon the Let's Get Real and Heal meditation service, if this is your first time, of course, so you're most welcome. If you'd like to be notified when we are live, just hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and then you'll get a little ding from us. So I'm joined tonight by one of our practitioners here at the center, Beverly Scott, as we move into our program for this evening. So we just start by taking a deep conscious breath and release. Just allowing ourselves to surrender to this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence which we call spirit. Now, fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience which we honor here this evening. So as Beverly lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here in our sanctuary, within our online community, and of course within our own hearts. And finally, as Beverly lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone, including possibly yourself, the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I surrender, I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God.
Let us take this time to turn within and surrender into this moment, this next hour. A surrender to our inner spirit, knowing as we are open and receptive, we will hear and feel the presence in this moment. Knowing that all is well as we come together and spend time just being. It feels so good to just be in the presence of like-minded spirits, beings. I know that we are right where we're supposed to be, bearing the light, spreading the word, and being Christ-conscious beings. And I'm thankful and grateful for this reality. I offer my word into law, knowing that without a shadow of a doubt, our surrender into the moment of who we are is all right here and now, manifesting. And I'm deeply grateful. And I affirm, and so it is. Thank you. Amen. Well, we're here in the middle of the week. It's Wednesday, and we made it safely. And now we can turn within and enjoy this meditation hour with Reverend Mike and all the people in the sanctuary and that are online. Tonight I want to talk about disappointment. And disappointment, for me, is very personal. And I'm working on that. I'm praying for myself. I'm speaking with a practitioner to just accept and do what you can, be what you can, because all that you are and can do is coming from the Most High, your higher self, your spirit, my spirit. And so when I look in deep within myself, I see that I am doing the best that I can. I am giving all that I can. But I realize that I'm willing to see what more I can do. So with that said, I look at disappointment and I say, the gift of disappointment. In truth, disappointment is simply an invitation to look in a different direction because something even greater awaits. That's what I'm telling myself. And you know what? It's true. My spirit told me so when I was being, not doing, meditating, contemplating. When something doesn't go as planned, I steer clear of the road of disappointment. I open myself up widely to receive and to ask divine intelligence within. What greater experience is seeking to be born? I'm going to repeat that because it means so much. And I'm here as a bearer of the light to share what comes on my consciousness. I open myself up widely to receive and ask the divine intelligence within. What greater experience is seeking to be born? And then I sit still. And I breathe in. And I breathe out. Again, I refuse to engage in disappointment when things do not go as planned. Instead, I turn to the truth, declaring that only the great and better is unfolding in my life, in perfect divine order. My brothers and sisters, this is true for each and every one of you, all of us. We must turn to the truth, declaring that only the greatest and best is unfolding in our lives in perfect divine order. I leave you with that. As we meditate tonight, think on that. And an affirmation, I know that wherever I am, it is the right place at the right time to be the heart and hands of spirit here on earth, right here and now. From Ernest Holmes, Creative Mind, page 32. When the greater comes in, the lesser leaves because there is no longer anything to give life to it. Thank you. Love, peace, and harmony. But before I step away, I'd like to leave you with a few announcements. As always, please, if you're in need of prayer or someone to talk to, please visit cslgh.org. We're waiting with open arms to speak and to treat for you. Spiritual Unity Movement, Full Moon Healing Meditation, Thursday, May 4th at 7 p.m. The May's theme, the legend of Wiske. Reverend? Wiske. That is the theme. Bring your percussions and drums. Thank you. Enjoy the meditation.
Yeah, so that's tomorrow night right here at the center. May the 4th be with you. Yeah, Wesak is a Buddhist celebration. I can't remember if it's the birth of I think it's actually the celebrating the enlightenment of Siddhartha Gautama to become the Buddha, because I think we celebrate his birthday in December. But I could be wrong on that. But what I know about that is the Buddha's cool with it. So I invite you to be cool with it too. So I have here a creative thought from July of 1984. And this person who I'm going to read from is Dr. Erling Castelaw, who I know Reverend Nancy knew, who was a good friend of one of our former ministers here, Dr. Kathleen McLaughlin, who was minister of this center in this location for over 20 years, I think 24 years. So, we've been blessed with good leadership here for long stretches of time. And it was under Dr. Kathleen's leadership that we secured this location here in the late 70s. So it's, and even still, as long as we've been here, people come by and said, I've never noticed this place. And then I give them the 5-cent tour, and wow, there's a lot going on here. Yeah, and there is a lot going on here. So, one of the things that, so the current the current Surgeon General, I can't remember his last name. I just remember his first name it's Dr. Vivek something. But he has been promoting some research that he was involved with on the subject of loneliness. And that he is saying and teaching and preaching, if doctors can do such things, that loneliness is as damaging to our health as smoking cigarettes. And that the demographic most affected by that right now, currently, are teens and young adults from 15 through 26, 27 years old. However, it's running throughout the population, not just in the United States. It's a global phenomena in the developed world, that there is an isolation. People have been feeling isolated for some time, and that has been one of the knocks on urban living. That's why cities like Los Angeles have, starting about 30 years ago, started building neighborhood councils as a way, in a secular way, to try and create spaces where people could meet. And which is also the part about the business improvement district here in Granada Hills, to create spaces where people can walk around and mingle and just to kind of, bump into each other and meet each other at the market or on the street, and just to try and get a sense of community. And now we have this, so this has been a phenomenon that's been recognized since the urbanization, so many people moving into urban and suburban areas. But now we have this new phenomena of being online, and now coming out of years of, at least two and kind of a tenuous third year, right, where we were kind of tiptoeing out of our homes post-COVID, trying to figure out how to do things. And that's kind of where we find ourselves now. Even in our little community here, we're starting to come together on Sundays more, and we're got kind of a hodgepodge effort in some areas, just trying to create a space for new folks to be welcome, to be able to come in, have a cup of coffee and a little something, something. And, but we've really only been kind of back this way for about a month or so. And I just, this theme keeps popping up. I listened to a podcast on this with Krista Tippett on Being, her On Being podcast, where they talked about this. And so it's important, with so much talk about how a lot of our conventions and traditions are going to retreat online, like church. I think this is misguided. I think we really need to, and this center and this spiritual community is not just about supporting a building, right? But to support the building so that we can have a place to meet and gather that's bigger than our living rooms, right? And this isn't much bigger than some living rooms, but it is a nice place to be able to come and to be able to practice service with each other and to be served and to practice these principles with each other of seeing the God presence, seeing the Spirit in all people. And I'm grateful myself. I'm just grateful that this place was here when I got here and that it will be here when my tenure is complete. Because the one thing that we really learn here is that really the power in our life that we're wanting to unleash, this creative impulse of life, needs freedom for its expression. And Dr. Erlene wrote about this when she writes, when relating to our family, friends, community, even nations, remember this is 84, even nations, we are loud and clear about the fact that we want freedom. Sometimes when we use the word freedom, we are referring to the dissolving of a relationship, getting a divorce, becoming of age, or simply aspects of our daily interaction with other individuals. When we encounter a, quote, lack of freedom, we will usually blame someone else for these feelings of bondage. However, real freedom comes from within, and for it to be expressed requires our individual personal consent and desire. The cause for bondage in our experience is within our own thinking, and in this pattern will be repeated through experience until a new cause is established. And the thing is when we're feeling like we're being held bound, another way you could say that is if we're suffering in some way, right? It's within our own thinking. Real freedom carries with it a responsibility, and we cannot be totally free until we assume the privilege and responsibility for our own lives. We appear on earth as an individual expression of infinite intelligence, and having all knowledge, we have the ability to accept or reject bondage. In our use of spiritual mind treatment, we are not limited to any particular kind of freedom. We can speak our word and demonstrate our independence with the knowing that intelligence individualizes and interprets through us and as us. An impersonal law will never ask us, "Who are you kidding?" Therefore, make sure that our willingness is real. It's important that we personalize our concepts. Our personality is the use we make of our divine individuality, and when we make an intelligent demand, we should expect the results to be intelligent. You are the only person in the world who can do a perfect job on being you. And so it's around this idea then that this spiritual community kind of staked out this little piece, this little place on Chatsworth Street, so that we can explore and practice what this means, and how through the constant practice of releasing ways in which we're feeling held bound or suffering in any way, that we really are uncovering the expression of the divine as ourselves. Now, does this mean that we're going to be able to walk on water? Probably not. I mean, in theory, yes. I've yet to meet anyone who did that, or even turned loaves and fishes into feeding thousands. Hot coals, yeah, we can do that. So, I think for tonight what we'll do is we'll go into our meditation, and I'm going to read bits of a spiritual mind treatment that was composed by Dr. Tom Johnson, who is a local minister here in Canoga Park, passed some time ago. All right, so let's just take a deep conscious breath together and release. And in that release, following the breath, bringing our intention to the inhale and the exhale. Just allow the tummy to rise and fall naturally and easily. Just take a moment to check our seat, feeling anchored. As we focus on the breath, the mind begins to settle. I am created out of life itself. So as I read these words in the first person, I encourage you to take them in as your own, following the breath. Feeling a sense of deepening with each exhale. I am created out of life itself. Therefore, I am all that life is. I am actively aware of this truth. And thus, the law of my highest self is the law of life. I am centered in this present moment. In this way, I am free to express the nowness of the Most High. There is a voice within that eternally speaks its perfection. This voice is life itself, announcing its intent and purpose. And I listen. I hear. I accept. In my acceptance of the presence within myself, there is clear vision. That life is choosing by means of me. I am in tune not only with my God self, but with the perfect body that this God self is choosing. So we allow this word now to resonate within. As we stay with the breath, following the breath, for about 15 minutes, taking a deep breath and release. staying with the breath. Imagine with me the resting place of the Most High within, the flame of the divine within the very heart center of our being. And that with each in-breath we are fanning that flame. That we are fanning that flame with the very breath of spirit, that we are breathing spirit. Spirit is breathing us. By bringing our attention to the light within our heart center, it grows, expands, grows in radiance and brilliance, enlightening and enlivening every aspect of our being. So with each in-breath, then it expands just a wee bit more, this globe of light, this expression of love within. The presence of the Most High that is simply growing with our attention to it. We're doing nothing but allowing its presence to be more fully realized in this moment. Staying with the breath. This field of light and love now extending beyond the body torso, side to side, front to back, top to bottom, that we have our being in this field of light and love, staying with the breath, expanding even further, commingling with our friends here in the sanctuary and on the call here this evening, that the Spirit is not bound by time nor space. So we are connecting with our beloveds online, even beyond time. For our future viewers, that there is a connection as we realize the infinite power and the presence is everywhere present and alive in its free expression as each one of us. And so, activated in this field of light and love, this field in which infinite possibilities for good emanate and resonate, we attune the body now, knowing that the divine Om within is attuning the biological body at the smallest aspects of being, from a subatomic to an atomic to a molecular level, that there is both an alignment, a resonance, and an activation with a pattern of perfection at a molecular level, a cellular level, that every organ, every muscle, every bone is attuning and expressing as this pattern of perfection, as radiant good health. And we feel the strength and vitality within the body temple currently, knowing that we are activating the infinite power and presence of the Most High that we're releasing any old thought forms of restriction or bondage of any kind, instead allowing the freedom of expression as radiant good health to be our truth now. Take a deep breath. Release that. Staying with the breath, knowing that our heart is open, but our mind is now open too to new and dynamic ideas. It is the infinite intelligence of which we are both accessing, thinking into, and thinking with. That we are open and receptive to solutions to any seeming challenge we may be wrestling with, that we're just releasing that sense of struggle, that sense of any ways of thinking that are keeping us held bound, and instead opening the mind into ways of free expression as we invite the creative impulse of life now to infuse our mind at the deepest levels of thought, anchored now and embraced in the subconscious for later expression, or even now in the conscious mind, infusing new and dynamic ideas that release old thought forms of bondage or suffering of any kind. We take a deep breath and feel the release of those old forms, and on the in-breath, breathing in this new expression of freedom, of strength, of expression. So we know further, as now the mind and the heart are attuned with this infinite presence, that we are now radiating a sense of peace, harmony, serenity, an openness to connectedness in ways of friendship, in ways of love, intimacy, of passion, creativity. This creative impulse is, another word for that is the libido. So we're connecting with that and allowing this creative expression within all of our relationships, those we hold most intimate and dear, those with whom the people we have within our offices, our companies, that all of it now is an expression of harmony and respect, of tolerance, of an agape love that sees the face of the divine in the other, including those with whom we appear to be in conflict with, for we understand that they too are awakening to their own understanding of the divine within themselves. And we respect this. So we take a deep conscious breath, releasing that. And so we know on some deep, gracious sense of gratitude and appreciation that there is this one power, one presence, one source, one life of the divine that is both impressing and expressing itself in, through, and as all of life, in, through, and as our life, in, through, and as the life of all people. So we are intuitively connected and supporting and allowing the free expression of life in respectful ways to be the law of our own being, as it is the law of the Most High. And so for all of our own cares, concerns, aspirations, intentions that we may have brought here with us this evening, we take a deep breath now and release those now, releasing with deep gratitude and confidence to that aspect of the mind of the living spirit that knows only to say yes as the law of its own being. So we release all of it now to its divine expression, knowing it is done. And so we leave here this evening. For those here in the sanctuary, we find our way to our homes in safety and in good order. We all make our way through the rest of the evening, finding our way to our beds. And as the head hits the pillow, we drift off easily, deeply, restfully to sleep, dreaming sweet dreams that we awaken feeling fully restored, rested, revitalized with a sense of vim and vigor and zest, an energetic zest for the day. So we take one more final releasing breath. Just release it with gratitude, knowing it is done, knowing it's so. Together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So I do want to take a couple minutes to thank those of you who have been supporting us online through your online giving. And we actually received, so we have a fundraiser going on here. We have a beautiful ring that we have an opportunity drawing for. And so thank you to Wendy out there in our online community. She sent in her money to buy 3 tickets, and so it's in the batch. And so if you're online and want to participate in this, you can do that through PayPal, and just make sure you make a note for the opportunity drawing with your information and so forth. And if you are the winner on the solstice, so we're going to have the drawing here on Wednesday night, which will be June 21st, which will be the summer solstice. You'll have a dazzling ring to take into. So anyway, until then, if you want to join us online, just again, just hit subscribe and the notifications. We are live here, 10:30. We have Jason Goldstein, and he is bringing 4 students with him this week for the music program. So it should be a lot of fun. And so if you're in the area, please come on in. If you're online, make sure you drop in and say us, and maybe even drop us a line in the chat. Until then, know that you are loved. Peace and blessings, and we'll see you next time.